Hello and welcome to a Best Automatic James Bond special, and yes, I'll be focusing on that 1977 famous gadget car in that film The Spy Who Loves Me. Now, some people have been complaining about the first episode that we were replicating that car chase from Dr. No. We needed to use a 1962 Sunbeam album season 2, but we used a 1965 Chevy 427 Cobra. Well, they don't have it in the game. And the Cobra started life in Thames Ditton, England, not America. Alright, we tried our best to replicate the chase from Dr. No. Alright, our best cardboard effort. Okay. So, we moved on with the DB5 from Goldfinger to Thunderbolt, what didn't do much, so we moved on, to the iconic American motor of all. The Mach 1 Mustang, and apologies that nobody didn't understand that I was trying to get the DB5 on 2 wheels and Captain Gorgeous with the Mustang, and all that information that insurance investigator was giving, well, at least we haven't got her on the show this time. So we looked at the information at the back of the DVD cover. Why was this film more successful for Sir Roger Moore on his third outing? Or was it something else in the movie what made it successful, like an actress or a certain motor car? Anyhow, we've made a short film, so enjoy. Barbara Bach was born on the 7th of August 1947 in a place called Rosedale, Queens, and she grew up in Jackson Heights, somewhere in New York. Her dad was the bit of the old Bill, he was a policeman, an Austrian Jewish policeman, so not a guy to be attended to mess with. And her mum, well, she was a Catholic, so sending little Barbara Bach to the Catholic school. And her mum might be Romanian as well, making her more exotic, like a European girl instead of a New York girl. What went to a Dominican school of high school girls, Catholic school. She was the captain of their basketball team. And then obviously she left in 1964 and started her career being a model, obviously. A very popular model, a fashion model for the Eileen Ford famous magazine. She had their high cheekbones, a long neck, and them little big eyes. That's what Eileen Ford wanted to lack for certain models, and she was that popular at the age of 17 back in 1965. And she was all over the magazines and all that, front pages and all that. Look, very popular she was, but it wasn't enough for her. She might have appeared in magazines like 17 and Vogue, but between 1965 and 1966. But later on, she went over to Italy, right? And then she met a businessman, Augusto Magarini. It sounds like Lamborghini. No, don't think of that. No, it's different. Anyhow, at the age of 19, she married the guy and changed her name to Barbara Magarini, and then ended up having 2 children with him, a boy and a girl. But that didn't stop. Her career just boomed into more modelling in Italy to television. And then a director, Franco Rossi, came on the scene and got Barbara to do loads of films, well, Italian films. The lady dedicated herself to actually speak Italian, and not even that, she even starred in a French film, and we all know she starred in a British film, don't we? It's all building up to that, obviously. But there was one little wee problem, that her success and her husband was a bit of a private man, her husband, and he couldn't really, well, he wasn't really into all this fame, and he was a different chalk and cheese, as you say, but they always say opposites attract, don't they? But for her husband to live in her limelight, especially with all the magazines she did. Yes, she did pose for the famous one, in America. Yes, she did as well. But that was the perks back in the days. Obviously, it was the 70s. Typical stereotype back then. I mean, obviously, you got them Italian magazines, a Joya, a Mega, and a Bella, making Barbara more a popular demand doing all these magazines. But she was even having more, where it came that people what demanded more were doing movies as well, and she did it. Not even that, she was doing these movies, she had 2 kids as well, but it put strain on their marriage, and the couple, well, they decided to give it the end and divorce. They departed, like friends, so it wasn't a messy affair, but good on them that Barbara carried on with this career. And everybody might criticise that she did a lot of B movies, but, well, somebody's got to start from somewhere, don't they? Like me, I should have mentioned that her daughter's name was called Francesca, and she's got a son, Jane. I hope I got his name right. I think I have. Well, I'm hoping I got his name right. I mean, the poor lad later on had a major operation, but it was successful, and he was fine. But that put more strain on their marriage, and I'm afraid back in 1975 they decided to call it quits. But it took them 2 years, up to 1978, where they got finally divorced. Barbara, well, she left Rome and moved back to the States, in LA, California near enough, I think. Yeah, I think she did. Well, that's when she did a couple of other movies there, low-key movies. I think you can watch them on YouTube, actually. Yeah, I think you can. So, she got this big major part what came up. Yeah, the one and only Charlie's Angels. Yes, back in 1979. Kate Jackson, what played Tiffany Wells, was leaving the show. Maybe she was auditioning for Scarecrow and Mrs. King. Got proud of that. Yeah, well, I enjoyed it, watching it. So, never mind that. I mean, the poor dear Barbara Bach was in the papers saying that she's actually got the part, but there was some weird reason that she didn't get the part because she looked like Jacqueline Smith. I mean, look at that. She does not like her. It's like Cameron Diaz. I mean, does she look... Well, yeah. She could have been disappointed, but she moved on and did this comedy film, The Caveman. And that film, well, that turned her future into something different. Yeah, she got a new husband. Yeah, a real famous husband. We all know him as the one and only Thomas the Tank Engine. Well, I knew him as doing the voiceover for the 80s Thomas the Tank Engine. The time where it was done by an electric train set, not CGI then. Alright? And Ringo Starr, right, is a formal Beatle. And what I mean by that, the Beatles, their 60s band. And he was a drummer, right? Now, he was married to a lady called Margaret Cox, but sadly, she died from a bone marrow transfusion, what she was getting from her son, Zach. Yeah, Ringo and her had 3 children together. When they got married back in 1965, and then later on they did get divorced, but then they got remarried. But back in 1990 96, sadly she did pass away from the complications from the bone marrow treatment. So yeah, Ringo later on still did films, as we all know. That's where he met Barbara when they did the film The Caveman, and they've been together since then. I mean, it's obviously they've got something in common. Then both of them know about submarines. Yeah, that one with the famous submarine car. Yeah, The Spy Who Loves Me. Yeah, the most popular Bond movie back in the time, where Harry Saltzman actually departed from Bond because he was in so much debt that he actually had to sell half his stocks back to to Kevin Broccoli. I mean, that was Kevin Broccoli had to do this film actually all solo, and if it wasn't a successful movie, the Bond franchise could have died out. But I think what really got this movie actually more iconic is, yeah, the most famous motor car in the 70s, I would say, the famous Bond motor is the Lotus, obviously, especially with this sneaky surprise where it turns into submarine. I mean, my personal opinion, thinking that the gadget car re-releasing that made the film popular, or it could have been, the god-lacking Barbara Bach playing Anna Sylvia, or I should say Triple X. Yeah, not that one. I don't know why people get confused with Triple X. Well, I'm bleeding sorry. Yeah, that's another thing what reminds me of. Yeah, people getting confused with Richard Kiel's part as Jaws. Yeah, because everyone thinks of Steven Spielberg. Alright, Steven Spielberg did get offered maybe to direct this movie, but that didn't happen. But yeah, people still get confused with that. You know, it's alright, play the cartoon character. But another thing about Richard Kiel, he did do another few films with Barbara Bach as well. And with Lewis Gilbert directing it this time. I mean, he directed You Only Live Twice, but seems very familiar with the story wise, with spaceships eating other spaceships when you got oil tankers eating submarines. Yeah, that's in this movie. And it's the first time you actually see James Bond in the beginning titles as well. But nobody does it better than our little gorgeous Barbara Bach. And what a performance she did. Brilliant. But she's no comparison from the second gadget Bond car. Yeah, the Lotus Esprit. And we wouldn't have this vehicle if it wasn't some bloke spending his college money and investing to create a decent, lightweight racing car. Yeah, we're talking about Colin Chapman, obviously. Yeah, the guy what is Lotus. Now, he might have created the Mark 1 and did it up to Mark 4, left by that, did a Mark 6, but it's the Mark 7 what is the one what's legendary, because we got catering 7s now. Many people always thought it was a bleeding kit car. Well, obviously it was. Colin Chapman sold it that way to dealerships to avoid a tax income thing, whatever it was. Now, he sold the cars in two parts, the engine and the frame, and the dealerships just put them together and sold it as a full car. Well, obviously Colin Chapman wanted to sell a full-size proper car, so he created back in 1957 the Lotus Elite, and then he created the lightweight bone chassis and incorporated it in the 1962 Lotus Milan. People loved it. It said it was like a four-wheel motorcycle on a racetrack close to the ground. They loved it, but they had to pay purchase tax. And then the 70s arrived. Everything was getting aerodynamic and very looked triangle-y shaped. like Concorde, the Intercity 125, and I mean the train, not the bike, alright? And yeah, Chapman, yeah, he got espied by Ferrari and another culprit, yeah, the Maserati Boomerang. This iconic motor just came out of nowhere and everybody was amazed by it.
He's got windows on the doors just like my new car what the producers have got me. Yeah, a Lamborghini Monza. Yeah, concept car it was. Yeah, it did 140 against up to 60 in 7 seconds, and it was sold in 2011 for $1.8 million as well.
I'm not bothered about your car, what about Lotus? Colin Chapman teamed up with Italian car designer Gennaro Gennaro and created the Lotus Esprit concept car. Colin Chapman gave up on the project, but Gennaro actually physically built a concept car and then named it the Silver Car. It got shown in 1972 next to the Maserati Boomerang, and that's when Gennaro designed the other prototype, the red car.
This is the car with the 4-cylinder 2-litre family state engine, bit like the Vauxhall Cavalier front suspension it had, and the Citroen SM gearbox, but that went out of production back in 1975, and it had the Citroen SX door mirrors. How bad's that? And I mean, it had its handbrake in the wrong place, and oh blimey, it had what, a Fiat X.9 lights on it as well. And it tried to imitate Starsky and Hutch car as well, and then oh man, the Austin Marina door handles is amazing. They had them because I was striking all the time.
Yeah, but it later on it updated. It had the Talbot Sunbeam engine on the Rover ST1 backlights.
Well, I've got to admit, it does look nice in yellow and red. It looks like a slice of cheese. Yeah.
Well, yeah, alright, fanny bugger. Right. It was launched in October 1975 at the Paris Motor Show. Then they found out that Albert Broccoli was looking for a new style Bond vehicle. And obviously, they had the good candidate, didn't they, Lotus? But the bomb producers didn't have to go looking far. A manager from PR, Donald McLaughlin, knew that they were looking for a bomb car, so he took one of the prototypes to Pinewood Studios and started parking it all over the place. But he actually took all the symbols and put masking tape. Yeah, there was masking tape over the symbol of the car, so nobody didn't know what it was until the guy what did the special effects for the Puppet series Thunderbirds, Derek Meddings, knew. He tracked down Donald McLaughlin and introduced him to Albert Broccoli, and they shook hands and the deal was done. The Lotus was a bomb car. They got Guy Hamilton to direct, but he went and did Superman, so they got Lewis Gilbert to direct for him instead. Ian Fleming wasn't really impressed with the story of The Spy Who Loves Me, so it was just the title they used for the film. I mean, Kevin Kaluri had the rights to Elfred Blofeld, the bad guy, yeah. so they couldn't use him, so they had to create an entire new bad guy. You know, the one that was named after my car, yeah. Lewis Gilbert got a writer in called Christopher Wood. He wrote a story. The next thing, a case matter with that Kevin Glamoury started his bother again. So they had to go to court and sort that business out. And Donald McLaughlin, yeah, he had to drive the Lotus Esprit to a French press conference about The Spy Who Loves Me, and he was driving with the number plates from the prop number plates from the movie, and the French police pulled him over and nicked him for speeding until they gave him an escort to the residence he was going to. Then it was in the papers, and Albert Broccoli read it, and he was chuffed to bits, thinking James Bond up for speeding. Yeah, and it promoted the car as well. Ernie Day, the second unit director, what was doing the action scene with the car chase in Sardinia, and the little snag happened. They wanted more than one car, but the problem was that Lotus didn't build the cars quick enough, and especially with parts from different cars, there were strikes on, so it took them a while to build an actual car, but they needed two. So the only way they could do it is get in touch with Lotus. They mentioned their chairman owns a Lotus Esprit. Yes, Colin Chapman, the guy what doesn't believe in having unions, so it wasn't his team of people striking. No, not indeed. So they borrowed the vehicle and they got it to Sardinia, and the guy what drove it there had to do all the stunt driving because the stuntman couldn't do it. So we're going to play the clip with the chase now, so Captain Gorgeous has a bit of a clue what's going on.
Yeah, that'd be handy, that.
So Strongberg has sent all his henchmen after Bond when he gets on land, and they're got to kill him.
Wait on, how do you know they're a bad guy? They've only been following him on a mile on a straight road. Anybody can do that.
Yeah, but it's Bond, isn't it? I mean, look at what the dedication and all the hard work these stunt people do out there for months. They can't just do willy-nilly messing about trying to get it so accurate.
Well, that ain't accurate. What a sidecar. What's that doing?
It's a missile to blow Bond up.
Right. It looks stupid.
All those feathers and he's talking about flying.
Was that meant to be funny? It wasn't.
Yeah, what? I mean, oh, my bet here, my favourite hero.
Who's this dude?
Oh, this is famous Jaws. I mean, the henchman. I always wanted him to be a gaddy. Yeah, what? I'm the culprit. I wanted Jaws to be a dog guy. So I might have ruined Moonraker. Yeah, I'm one of them culprits.
What's going on here?
Well, they've got a cement mixer in the back of the Lotus, and it's like one of the gadgets shoots concrete at the windscreen.
What? It's got a cement mixer in it.
That's when it's on land. Of course, it is then almost like a normal Lotus, except at the back it's able to squirt cement at the enemies from the back. In other words, 4 guns come out of the back, and it's able to squirt the cement at people's windshields. Which is, I've often thought I would like that when I'm cut up on the road sometime, to have something like that.
When the black car, for instance, goes over the edge, is that a real car?
Yes, again, it's a real car. I mean, the whole chase, of course, is with real cars. Again, they had to take the engine out of the black car, and then they put that over the side, over the cliff, with the same method. They catapulted over the edge, and you just hope it's going to fall in the place that you want it to.
So Bond gets attacked by a helicopter, and it's already been flown by the lovely Caroline Munro, and she starred in them films, them Doug McClure film with the rubber monsters.
Who's Doug McClure? Is he like Bond as well?
No, he's not. No, this lady, advertised a lot of image, a bit like Elsa Anderson with a knife at the side of her, giving that hard girl image. This is Doug McClure, if you don't know him.
No, I don't.
Well, there's a famous YouTuber what fancies her, so we're better moving on.
I've always seen a load of people doing that on GTA 5. I've always wondered why they kept on doing that. Now I know why.
So this is the famous scene where Bond presses the gadgets and the car transforms.
What, like a transformer? A robot?
No, but it transforms into a submarine. This is the first time we actually seen a vehicle transform into something different. Maybe it gives the inspiration for Transformers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the point is with Bond, he's turned this car into a submarine and he's being pursued by Caroline Munro up above.
But wait on, she's in a helicopter, how can she pursue him? And when he's underwater?
Anyhow, he's got a license to kill, so he might as well use it, so...
What do you mean a license to kill?
Well, he has!
Well, what's he doing?
Well, he's gonna blow her up and dispose of her, because he wants to be left alone with Barbara Bach, you know, under the ocean, the waves and all that lot. But that doesn't happen. Now this camera shot was done by Alka-Seltzer, I know, but he does get rudely interrupted by some naughty divers with missiles. Now the strangest thing I've always wondered about this is, if you got to be insured being a diver, but if you got ran over by a car under the ocean, could you claim on your insurance?
Well, why would you? Wait on! That's a bit weird and convenient, that submarine coming out of nowhere.
No, it's a Bond movie, isn't it? What? I mean...
Wait, oh, he's using his indicators. You know, that fake indicators.
What? Don't ruin the movie. You know, the movie was that popular anyhow, because look at all the merchandise and all the advertising. I mean, they had to. I mean, yeah, they showed some effects how they shot the car in. Yeah, Parry submarines created one submarine, but it wasn't technically a submarine. It was a car full of water with a couple of divers in, right? But they only had one vehicle, so you know, it was a bit of a gamble doing all that fancy stuff. I mean, there's Barbara Bach now. Later on, she does brilliant in this car because she knows where all the gadgets are.
Now, you've given him a Lotus for the latest Bond film. What was wrong with the old Aston?
Well, there was nothing wrong with the old Aston actually, but Lotus is really a car for today, isn't it? I mean, or tomorrow, and Bond films are about today and tomorrow.
Oh.
Barbara Bach saves the day by saving James Bond's life because she knows where all the gadgets are, because how simply she explains it.
Well, yeah, we just heard to say it.
So, Bond drives the vehicle out the water and then slowly, casually drives it up the beach, disposing of smelly fish what's somehow got in there.
Wait on, has he just thrown something out the window? That's littering! That is a bad influence, showing people that.
Yeah, it's just Bond. Anyhow, Bond's second outing is for your eyes only, but unfortunately for the Lotus, it has that car defense device, you know. Somebody breaks the window, it blows up. I mean, then he gets another Lotus.
And then what happens to that?
Well, the Lotus loses its appeal against the Citroen 2 CV.
What do you mean? That car back in Citroen, back in 1914, they used to make 25 million bombshells for the First World War, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. And then in September 1934, Michelin bought them out, didn't they?
Yeah, something like that. Anyhow, what does this Bond car do, this Citroen? Go on two wheels?
No, it don't do that. It tips over when it does that. but it jumps over Peugeots and makes them all crash. Now, I used to have them corgi cars, or what?
Oh, did you? Yeah, right. So you had that corgi vehicle?
Yeah, alright, my Charlie's Angels van was silver. I mean, I soon sorted it out. I painted it black and put some red masking tape on. Yeah, made it look like the 18 van.
You do know you could have bought one of them, and it was the same shape, die-cast shape, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Anyhow, I had Mr. T doll me, and I used to go to bed every night with that.
Well, I always wanted a doll of Amy, but the deep mate one. That would have been nice going to bed with. Melinda Courier, why are you now? It's not my fault you lost your job at the second season. I tried to create my own action figure of you by using my sister's doll.
You what? It was George Papa what wrote her out, you idiot.
It could have been that she didn't have an iconic car.
Oh yeah, she didn't do very well with the French cars, did she?
Yeah, in that episode.
Yeah, the one like Mr. Majesty with the watermelons.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's shame they blew that Renault 5 up, isn't it? And I read the 18 van had to tow it apart.
Wait on, I didn't have one of them toy corgi cars.
Well, I wasn't that posh me. I had Hot Wheels or Matchbox me.
What did you know?
Yeah. Now, I didn't know we were talking about Lotus, but we've moved on to the Citroen 2CV.
Oh yeah, I'm not meant to be talking about that. Alright, we better do a part 2, alright? So on that note, we'll leave it at that. Nobody does it worse than you.
You can't say that.
Here's a picture to put you off.
Hey, that's her from Knight Rider.
Bye, have a great time.